guys. Okay, for 5 years, I was the creative director for an advertising agency in Texas. So a lot of the ad campaigns we developed were for churches and faith-based initiatives like teen abstinence programs. So yeah, I helped and were responsible for those. So this is the Bible Belt. And it's a region where what church do you come from is a proper, common introductory question. So secular music, yoga, Halloween, these are all diabolical there. But typically for creatives, like if you're a filmmaker or you're a photographer or designer, we get it. We understand that revisions and rejections, they come with the job. But in the Bible Belt, which is easily offendable, they're an inevitable bitch. But there are ways to tackle these. And this is not an attack on Christianity, but more of an insight on common themes that we encountered and how we solve them every day. So, let no man be fabulous. Now, there are times when you have to composite multiple images together. Let's say you have two pastors you have to put on the same page, because this once actually happened. Now, there is a zone called the fabulous zone that no man shall cross into or share. Now, the fabulous zone, it measures, it's about a 3 to 5 foot radius. Now, if you place a man into another man or a pastor's zone, then guess what? In the Bible Belt, he's homosexual. Now, this might be an accidental abomination, but for those looking for offense, perception is everything. Now, lesson number 2. There are those, just some, that have used the Tower of Babel as justification for segregation. All right? So, interracial relationships can be quite unsettling for some. But know this, in the South, multiculturalism, it's encouraged. However, there are some rules you must follow, which is called the Babel algorithm that defines which ethnicities are allowed to mingle with each other. Now, 15 seconds or less on this one, okay? Latinos and African Americans, they're allowed to mingle. And Caucasians and Asians, they're totally allowed to mingle. Now, there's exceptions to the rule, but, this prime directive should never be ignored. All right, so if you've never seen the movie Carrie, it's Dirty Pillows with what the mom called breast. And so you know that even with conservative clothing, sometimes subtle hints of cleavage will just happen. And we also know that the overuse of Photoshop, it sometimes is an issue on women, okay? Now, a photographer friend once said that his job is to capture the essence of that person. So removing a blemish or, color correction is okay. But in the South, we like to hide a woman's shame. And so this would usually entail raising the blouse, the neckline, while digitally grafting skin into this satanic canal, thus keeping these pillows very clean. Now, abstinence programs, these were the bread and butter. They dominated our work in the Bible Belt. Okay? Now, these programs have been criticized for their ineffectiveness, but to some, like us, this was job security keeping kids from doing it. Now, these programs like to parade their own kids, showcase them as healthy, active teens of the community by putting on TV spots and billboards. So what do you do when billboards are erected after a kid becomes pregnant? Well, for us, it meant erasing the kid from the actual ad. And usually it's an ad just like that, okay? So, this happened more than once, and sometimes more than twice. So was it noticeable? It probably was to the kids in their high school. Now, there is a lesson here. It's always keep your project files open and never flatten your work. All right, so, the Bible Belt, it can dampen one's inspiration. It really can, and sometimes it can cause burnout to the point you want to change careers. But no matter what field you guys work in, there's going to be sometimes a job comes up that just clashes with your personal viewpoints, okay? Professionally, you always give 100%, and you always want to keep your work fun, all right? You should keep it fun. But know that you can't look for creative fulfillment in someone else's project. Look for creative fulfillment in your own personal endeavors. Because revisions and rejections, They might be the inevitable bitch, but never let them diminish your own creative shenanigans. Thanks.